What's up, and welcome to Lunchtime in the Lab, your number one gambling podcast for quick picks. I am your host, as always, brought to you nearly every day at what's going on here? Nearly every day at 11:30. Today got a little moved around, so we are at a 1 o'clock show here. With that, we've had some lines move, so I'm gonna have to make some adjustments. If you're in the Discord, you already caught one of the plays that I liked at the number that I liked. Today, we're going to have to move some stuff around, but that I think will be okay. I think we will be just fine doing that today. Before we get into everything, I'm going to make sure we hop into the weather report today, because we do have some stuff going on here. Let's pull the screen out. Let's see. I don't know. I think this is the biggest view I can get. So, in the middle here, it talks about the possible, and this is on the Swish Analytics. It's one of the websites I like to use. Ballpark Pal has some pretty good features in this sense as well, but unfortunately, well, not unfortunately. I mean, I certainly understand them getting their money. $10 a month to get those features. This website here is free, but we got the Cleveland and the Yankees game, 90% chance of rain, and the Detroit and Twins and Tigers game looking at 75%. So this is important to say, or whatever, you know. Oh, did it delay? Interesting. When did that pop up? See, that's what I get, man. I got back from I had to take my son to speech and was sitting in a elementary school, and I missed the notification. I actually had to play on that game 55 seconds ago, man. Look at my man Joe all over it. Breaking news. Well, that was I had to play in that game today. Wait, no, I didn't. I didn't have a play in that game. I had to play in the Tigers game. Anyway, okay. So goes to show that the weather report, if we would have done this at 11:30, boom, we would have been all over it. I would have said, hey, be careful with this game. I came across this trend on TikTok talking about lefties, and there's like this wind tunnel because they removed some like crates or something out of like, I don't know, some signage or something. He thinks it's creating a wind tunnel to lefties. So I was like, oh, I'm kind of interested in that. Let me try to go on some lefty hitters, particular, at home at the Cleveland Stadium there. But that game's rained out. So we do have to obviously be careful about the Detroit and the Minnesota game. You also, on the far right over here, we can see that there is, high wind going on right now. You got Phillies blowing out somewhat. We have 20-mile-an-hour wind at the Twins and the Tigers game, blowing out to left center, it looks like. More to come on that game right there. 20 miles an hour. I did not realize the rain was so crazy in that game. Wind blowing out, Rays, Orioles blowing in. That's a dome. Nothing. And then we had the 25-mile-an-hour wind, but that game just got canceled. So 12-mile-an-hour at the White Sox Stadium. From what I'd seen from Ballpark Pal, I think they said it was some pretty good hitting environments there as well. So I'm gonna actually pull something else up here real fast while I'm thinking about it. All kind of out of whack here. Much later podcast than normal. We're catching some of this news and stuff that I would have just tweeted about, later on or whatever. Okay. Anyhow, that's the weather report for today. Nothing overly crazy. Like I said, we would have been all over it, so it's important to make sure we look at it. Because if we had some action on those games, obviously, it could have caused some issues or something like that, But let's go ahead and get into it here. Get into the plays here as usual. Before we talk about the plays yesterday, Beer Money Picks. Did you find every ounce of my plays? If you're not interested in that sort of thing, we have 3 plays here every single day outside of days. And I'm trying to pick up a couch. Certainly been struggling with that. I don't know, the deal with our couch issues, and it didn't go overly smooth yesterday either, but we're working on it. Let's see. Actually, let me pull my notes up. Before we get into today's plays, we'll talk about what we did yesterday, as usual here, but not really yesterday. It was kind of the more recent day, I guess. We went 2-1. You had the Dodgers and the Mookie. Dodgers moneyline, Mookie bets to get a hit. Mookie got his hits. Dodgers could not win. And ran into the same issues actually the other day. With that same day, we talked about it on the stream. Soto to get a hit, and Yankees money line. Yankees ended up not winning, weren't able to hit. Dodgers just really struggled, runners in scoring position. Shohei tried to score from first base. Dude was chugging along, I guess. I mean, he was dead to rights. They called him safe, but I mean, he was out by a mile. Well, a glove. He was out big time. Giants first 5 team total that came in pretty easily. Cubs and Padres over 8 came in really easily as well. If I'm not mistaken, Padres scored more than 8 runs themselves. They whooped the Cubs. Cubs were able to get a little bit of runs there, but we were all over that over there. So felt good about that bet there. 2 in one day. Getting back to the winning ways of things and everything, but get into place here today. Let me move this so I can see better. Okay. All right. First play up is going to be in the Twins and the Tigers game here. I like the under. And let me actually look here real quick because I'm seeing it teetering between 7.5 and 7. DraftKings has it at a 7.5. That's what I'm going to lock in today. Of course, I want that higher number if I'm going to take the under. There must be some money coming in on the over 7 at some books. I've seen it bouncing around today. Sitting at 7.5 on DraftKings, sitting at 7 at even money on minus 102 on FanDuel, but we're going to take them under 7.5. In my opinion, this number could be lower. I don't think they can make it low enough. If we first talk pitching, you got what's his name? Tariq Skubal, however you say his name, going for the Tigers, who's 1-0 with a 2.92 ERA. Super good start, really good, solid start to start the season. Second start, not as good. You have Lopez on the other side for the Twins, 1-1, 2.84 ERA. Good start in his first time. Second game, not as good. So we kind of had similar things there. Both of these guys are good pitchers. Both guys just got banged up last time. I think both guys come out. Pablo Lopez has had some success against the Tigers in his career. He's pitched twice against them. And this Tigers pitcher here, I think I talked in early on. I mean, he could be really solid. I mean, he's a solid pitcher. He's just going to have some issues getting some wins because the Tigers have issues putting runs on the board. If you look at the bullpen, the Twins have the second best bullpen in the major leagues with a 1.35 ERA. The Tigers have the third best with a 1.47. So I like both of these pitchers, and I like what they have behind them. We just some really good things going for us. So you're looking on both sides of the pitchers here. Really good starters. Both have actually really good bullpens as well. If you look at hitting, the Tigers are the 24th worst batting average team in the league. The Twins are dead last. On base percentage, we have 25 and 26. Runs scored so far, 27th and 29th. Home runs, they're tied at 28th. Slugging percentage, 27 and 28. There's only 30 teams in the MLB. I mean, we're talking bottom 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 in a lot of these offensive categories. So not only do we have solid starting pitchers, what would be considered their aces on both sides. We have 2 high-ranked bullpens going against each other once these starting pitchers come out, and we have 2 offensive teams that have struggled to put the ball into play, to plate runs, however you want to say it. They've been having issues scoring, and then we have on the other side, we have pitchers that are able to, certainly have the capability of shutting things down. The last time I was on an under, I think we had 8.5, if I'm not mistaken. So I certainly would like to have a higher number. That's for sure. Nobody likes to play an under. Nobody likes to watch an under game. We're going to bet this and we're going to, try to move on and forget about it. If you're in the Discord, we're going to run some college baseball today. With that, those games start at 6. I'll certainly be paying more attention to college baseball than I will this Twins versus Tigers game. Because like I said, nobody enjoys watching an under, but there are certainly times where it feels like it's the right play. And, at this moment, it feels good in my opinion. So, of course, these teams can come out hitting. It's baseball. Anything can happen. I mean, he could walk 2 guys and give up a home run, and all of a sudden it's 3-0. Both guys limit walks. Both guys, have the capabilities. Like I said, we also have poor weather. 75% chance of rain. I think it was, at least when I made my notes, it was a 75% chance of rain. What's it now? Still a 75% chance of rain. So it's a colder game too. We do have some wind blowing out, but when it's cold and rainy like that, the ball's not going to travel as well. So I don't feel like I'm overly concerned about like the way the weather's blowing. Also, if it ends up getting delayed or postponed, I mean, no big deal there, obviously, either. we get a void or anything like that. TJ, I seen you had DM'd me, by the way, and then I got busy, and then I seen it again today, and then like I just keep forgetting to get back to you on that one there. Just FYI. So first play is going to be Twins and Tigers under 7.5 is what it's at right now. Like I said, it's teetering back and forth. I can get it at minus 125 on DraftKings under 7.5. So that's where I like it there. Second play, Braves and Marlins. So let me look here. Gonna have to change. We're gonna have to get creative here. If we would have probably done the podcast at the right time, we would have been okay. Got a lot of not line movement. We have a lot of odd movement, I guess you can say. I like the Braves. I got the hiccups, guys. I like the Braves over team total at 4.5. Unfortunately, right now on FanDuel, we're sitting at minus 142. If you guys are comfortable taking a minus 142 straight, I certainly, you guys do what you want to do. However, let me give you the breakdown on here, not worrying about the odds, and then I'll tell you what we can do as a little side way to play this, since our odds have kind of moved out of something I would normally want to play. So Braves team total over 4.5 is what we're looking at for this play. They've scored. They've scored. I thought about the first 5 team total, but I'll tell you why here in a second. I'll look that up though. I'm pretty sure I actually looked it up, but I bet it's juiced if their other team totals going, the full game team totals going one way. Oh, it's not bad. Over 2.5 and minus 125. So that's certainly an option too. That would certainly be an option to take the first 5 if you guys wanted to do it. But let's talk about the full game. They scored 5+ runs in 8 of their 11 games so far this year. In games that they've won, they have scored 5+ in every game. So we have a minus 190 money line favorite right now. At least it was when I made the notes. I'm sure it still is now minus 196. So it's moved a little bit. Probably going to get into the minus 200s in terms of money line favorites for the Braves, with the expectations that we are going to win this game. The Braves are over this 100% of the time this year. They have scored 5+, like I said, in every game that they've won. So we have this nice little trend going for us. So we'll talk about it now, I guess. If we were to take this over 4.5 because it ended up getting juiced, and then we add the Braves money line, we come out to minus 112. If you wait on it, you want to add something to it, use that as a leg, however you want to do it. But for the sake of the podcast, we'll have to do it the way that I said here, minus 112, Braves money line, and over 4.5. So they have the best batting average, the Braves here. The Braves have the best batting average, the best on-base percentage, the best slugging percentage, the 4th most runs, and the 9th most home runs. The Braves are going to be able to put up runs. It doesn't happen too often that they stay down. And like I said, they're over this in 8 out of 11 games anyway. They face Trevor Rogers today, who on the year has a 5.40 ERA. Versus the Braves in his career, he's 0-5 with a 6.03 ERA. The Marlins, here's the kicker against the first 5. And TJ just mentioned it. The Marlins have the 5th worst bullpen ERA at a 5.43 ERA. So I certainly think they're going to be able to beat up Rogers 100%. But what if they only get 3? What if they only get 4? Something like that. Well, shoot, versus the first 5, that'd cash anyway. But I like being able to have a bad pitcher and knowing that we have a bad bullpen behind them by taking this by taking the full game team total instead of the first 5. So those are the out there that's not interested in doing the over 4.5 team total and the Braves money line. You want to do something different, take the first 5 team total, sure, over 2.5. However, I like being able to we have 9 full innings for the Braves to get 5 runs against this pitcher that has really, really struggled against them in his career, a guy that's struggling so far this year, and a bullpen behind him that certainly does give up runs. And the Braves have the type of lineup where almost every guy is capable of hitting a home run, no matter where they're at. They could be at 6, 7, and 8 up there, and that's just as dangerous as 1 through 3 or 2 or 3 through 5 or whatever. I like the full game more than I do the first 5 or anything like that. Lastly, it's also smart to take the Braves in this situation. If you're going to run a team total or a player prop or something like that, it's always ideal, unless you have like a home split that's like overly favorable. It's always ideal to take the away team because they're guaranteed that ninth inning at bat. What if we only have 4 runs? They are guaranteed to get that ninth inning at bat. Whereas if the Marlins are winning, obviously, the way baseball works, you don't bat in the bottom of the ninth because it's not useful. We don't need to do that or whatever in terms of the game goes. I heard a stat today actually on the way taking my son to uh the elementary school today for speech. Uh the the Marlins here at home, I'm paraphrasing it. Something along the lines of the Marlins at home have not covered the run line. I don't think yet. They're like for whatever, however many home games they've had, they've lost. But every single series opener, they have lost by more than 2 runs as well. So they've gotten whooped in every single series opener. Today's obviously series opener against the Braves. So that's just another thing we kind of have going for ourselves in terms of like a trend or whatever, I guess you want to call it, if that makes sense. So however you want to play it, if you're in the Discord, I mean, shameless plug, whatever. We jumped the odds. We got this at minus 130. I felt okay doing 1.3 units because I feel good about the bet. We did 1.3 units on it to win, a unit. I don't, I'm not going to play a minus 146, minus 150, wherever it's sitting at or whatever. So we're going to take it officially. Braves team total over 4.5 plus their money line because it does coincide. Like I said, every time they win the game, they score 5 runs. So if they're going to win, they're going to have 5 runs. And then if they, they end up winning, they only have 3 runs. And obviously it broke that trend that we have going or whatever, which is certainly going to that's going to happen, all the time. We were on. Oh, speaking of, by the way, I was about to say it. So Paredes that we've been on, right? I swear his name was Isaac, but apparently it's Isak Paredes. I was on him to have a little hit builder the other day. He had a 9-game hit streak. He didn't get a hit. But then I was watching a video and somebody said Isak. And I don't know if that's just crazy talk, but it was an announcer, so I would think he knows how to pronounce it. But, man, this is wild. Wild stuff. Before we get into the third play here, as usual, guys, do me a favor. I'm hitting it myself. I've got now just 5 likes on the video. Wise man once said, I feel like I say this every day. I don't remember who said it. Free to hit the like, free to hit the subscribe button. If you like the plays, do me a favor, help me out. It helps with an algorithm of some sort. I'm chasing 7 subscribers. If you're in here and you have not subscribed to me, I'm 7 away from hitting 700. And then before we know it, we're going to be pushing down 1,000. And then after that, I feel like once we get 1,000, I feel like we're taking off after that. So hit both those buttons if you have not done so for me, please. And then we'll get into the third play here, which I think all 3 of these plays are pretty solid. I've been trying to decide what I'm doing in terms of like Discord type plays because I am going to run some college baseball today. Worried about having too many units out, but all 3 of these plays I feel really strongly about, to the point of like they could all be Discord type plays too. Sometimes I play them in different variations and whatnot, but yeah, I'm feeling it. Yeah. Okay. So you knew it's definitely Isak, Tigers fan. I don't know. Yeah. Well, man, so being a Tigers fan, I guess that makes sense. Being a White Sox fan, you think I would remember, as they play so many times. Shout out, new hat feel. Crazy though. I gotta start. I tell you, it looks like Isaac. So I'm like, I ain't gotta look that name up. I gotta start looking up like every name, I guess. Third play coming out of the Rangers and the Astros game today. We are going to go with the first 5 team total. Astros first 5 team total over 2.5. We're fading Dunning here in this matchup. So that's where, specifically Dunning. So that's where, it's hard to like, there's certainly going to be times where you take a first 5 team total and like it misses and the full game comes in, like it's all about picking the right shots or whatever. And, this bet is specifically on the pitcher. So why not take, the first 5? Whereas, like I said, the Braves is based off of an entire game type thing and talking about bullpens and everything like that. So anyhow, shoot, it's cough. Anyway, going after Dunning in this matchup on the year, he's 1-1 with a 4.15 ERA, but he's given up 3+ runs in the first 5 in each of his 2 starts. Dang it, guys. Stuff stuck in my throat. He's given up 3+ in the first 5 in each of his 2 starts. In his career against the Astros, he's 0-3 with a 5.20 ERA. He's, of course, faced them once already this year, and he gave up those 3 runs. 3 runs in the 3rd inning. I don't think the Astros even actually scored any more in that game. I think it ended up being a 3-0 or 3-1 type win. But, whether it's a home run, 1 bad inning, it doesn't really matter. He's faced these guys plenty of times. He's very familiar against these bats. The start before the one this year, back in September of 2023, he had 9 earned runs on like 5 innings or something like that. So he just got like shellacked against them. I am slowly trying to talk and pull up at the same time. If we pull up stats against Dane Dunning, you have, Altuve's faced him 15 times. He's batting 400 against them, all singles. Pena, is he even playing right now, though? He bats 400 as well. Kyle Tucker bats 294. He's got 5 hits on him. He's got a home run against him. Yordan Alvarez batting 333. He's got 2 home runs on him. Myers his bats, two for 4. But these guys have been hitting. These guys hit Dunning really well. They've got familiarity with them, and that's just a good spot in my opinion. So third play will be Astros first 5 team total over 2.5, and there's not a whole lot of stats against it. Sometimes he's certainly not on the fade pitchers list. He's not a Patrick Corbin or a Kyle Hendricks or Kyle Freeland or anything like that. When those guys are up, boom, for the most part, what's going on. He's not one of those guys, but in this situation so far, he's 2-0 to this number. He's 1-0 to this number against this team. It's that's not a bad spot, not a bad, mix or whatever for us, in this matchup. I think it's a solid look, to be completely honest. So let me pull. I think I got a recap screen. I think I did it before I left. Yeah. So we'll do the recap here, get the audio out of here. Now's the time if you guys have any particular questions. I kind of had a home run lotto put together, but if anybody had anybody in particular, we can certainly chat about it. Put a home run lotto together real quick before we get out of here. And we can do that. I gotta I think I took a screenshot. I was looking like right when I woke up this morning. My wife woke me up. He's supposed to be at speech at 8:30. It was like 8:15, and she's like, "Get up, go to speech." And I went running in there to get him, and she's like, "Oh, I got an email. Like she has to move it to 12." So I was like, up, ready and looking at stuff. So, but to recap though, on April 12th, 2023, on a Friday, we're going to ride Twins and Tigers. It says under 7 on the screen, but it moved to 7.5. So we're going to take the under 7.5 in the Twins and Tigers matchup. Braves team total over 4.5. We're going to add the money line on that now to eat the juice, as that number has moved since I made these notes. And once again, since I locked it in the Discord. And then we're going to take the Astros first 5 over 2.5 team total as well. As always, I'm your host. Audio side, if you're listening to this and you're interested, come on over to YouTube. Check us out at Lunchtime in the Lab. I'm going to close you guys, get you guys out of here. We're going to talk some home runs here in a bit, but I don't like this to get too long for you guys. So as always, I'll see you guys back at 11:30. Thanks so much for following me, listening to me, and I will see you guys back on a Saturday edition at 11:30. Okay. Payday, I used to. Before Bet365 came around, I did. But then since Bet365 has come out, that replaced. Like FanDuel is my primary. FanDuel and DraftKings are pretty interchangeable. I use FanDuel a lot in the Discord because there's links and people like to be able to have links to it. Just hit the bet and be able to place it. But there's times where DraftKings in particular, I feel like is a better MLB book. DraftKings has different promos compared to, normally more promos than FanDuel does. And then Bet365 is just my other book. really like it's NBA, for example. I feel like they're slow to change. So if I have a line that I really like and it's moving everywhere else, Bet 365 will still be there. But Bet ESPN, if they got a good promo or something, like the first touchdown promos were always good for them. Speaking of NBA, hopefully we'll get some of this back into the Discord, or back into NBA on the podcast once playoffs start. I did have an NBA play yesterday. It was pretty nice. It was nice to track it, pay attention to it, everything like that. So Bet ESPN also had an issue where if you had like a 4-leg parlay and like a leg voided or pushed, they just close the whole thing voided. And then like I guess they came out and said like they didn't know how to calculate the odds or something like that. Some junk, but Bet 365, man, when it came out, I had a lot of success. I was winning some good money on it, and Bet 365 is nice. I haven't really done it, much. I've been, I kind of forget or sometimes too, but they got the early payout. So like MLB, if they're up 5, like it's an automatic win. And NFL, like, and I'll certainly, up 17, that's an automatic win. That's some good stuff. All right, home run though. We can talk home run real fast if y'all want, and then we can close her out. Close her out here. I gotta get these plays written up for the Discord still. I gotta finalize some college baseball. About to have 2 1-unit plays in college baseball. I already did the Braves out there, so that's a 1.3. So we got like 3.3 units out. I really like the under 4. We'll probably run 4 early units and then see how it's going, and then add in that Astros first 5 team total in the Discord if you're in there later, because I like, in terms of official plays, because I don't like to be like too deep. So if I can save a unit, if my reads have just sucked, then it's like, all right, we'll just pass on this game. All right. Bet 365, 20 years. Jeez. I didn't know it's even been around that long. Embiid points tonight. Yeah. If they got, that's the thing, like sometimes I just don't care to pay attention to who is like, does this game matter? Like, let me just hop in the playoffs real quick, and then I know the game matters. All right, so home runs, and I gotta tell you, when the next Cleveland game, I'm interested in this. So like, apparently in Cleveland, in like home behind home plate up high, they had some like retired jersey plaques or something like that, and the guy claims they were like almost like on a like shipping containers or something like that. Well, apparently they pulled those out. They got rid of those. Maybe they moved the retired jersey plaque somewhere else or something like that. And what that's done is, is it's a windy area. Like wind is being forced through those gaps now, and it's creating like a wind tunnel in left field. So lefties are getting the ball up there, and it's just like carrying. So you're seeing like Quan hit a home run, or Naylor, or who's a switch hitter that bats third? Jose Ramirez. So like lefties, apparently it's a thing. But I also seen it on TikTok. So I don't know. I just found it though. My 3 that I kind of thought about, which was kind of like off the wall, was it your I was liking something in the White Sox game. Will Benson was jumping out at me. Gunnar Henderson. And man, Jordan, but sometimes he feels obvious. I think I was looking at Diaz in that game. Was it Yainer Diaz? How do you say his name? But some of you guys say Jordan, some say Ozuna. Ozuna almost feels like he's going to start to get tapped out. And I feel like it was just like kind of like off like a feeling, but because just the way like the wind and like the way, I mean, looking at ballpark pal, is obviously beneficial for some of this, but way like the wind is going and everything, like they're also saying that like Orioles is looking like a good ballpark. So Gunner is plus 500. Sometimes I hate to even look at the odds for the home run because that throws me off. Obviously, I hit these all the time. I mean, that's probably half my battle. Looking at the White Sox game, though, like pretty windy in Chicago. Part of me wanted to say Steer because that's just like normally that dude, but like Will Benson like has been hitting the ball pretty hard. Acuna, like I keep waiting for the guy to just be like, he's due kind of thing, but like he still really hasn't proven that the guy wants to like get on, have like multiple good games in a row. Sheesh, man. So sometimes it's so like, all right. So if we were to run Gunnar Henderson, Will Benson, and Yainer Diaz, I think I'm saying his name right. I don't even know. Like I don't even know how to say Isak. If we were to run Henderson, Benson, and Diaz, that's plus 17, almost plus 18,000. And like I just sometimes like that number scares me a little bit. Sometimes I feel like it's kind of nice to have like a plus, 9,000 or something like that. Because it feels like it's a little more attainable than. But then you see guys hitting stuff like this, but I can't remember. I don't know why Henderson was the one that he hasn't faced. You got that lefty righty matchup though. So you got a big lefty bat. So you got the lefty righty matchup there. You have Will Benson, you got good stats, in the White Sox game for home run wise and everything. We're showing an 11% home run chance. You got wind blowing out the dead center. It really, I mean, it could be anybody. It could be anybody in that game. If Luis Robert wasn't hurt, I would probably say him because I like to bet on him. So go Benson over Steer, and then Diaz. Like sometimes it's like like Yordan Alvarez is like the look. Kyle Tucker, but like Diaz is like dude's got some good stats too against him. I think. No, not really. Who was I looking at? So if you look at like who's like got good, like Yordan Alvarez has hit 2 home runs against Dane Dunning in his career. Part of me wants to change Diaz to Alvarez. Plus 11,000. What do you guys think? We go Diaz or we go Alvarez? Was it Chaz McCormick? That guy's not going to hit a home run. Alvarez is just such an obvious like like Alvarez can get a home run at any game. But I certainly do like the fact that Alvarez has hit 2 home runs against him in his career and Diaz is like 0-3. So that's, Alvarez is certainly a better look there. Just trying to see. Diaz hit a home run last night. So do you trust somebody to go back to back games? That's something else that I always have like kind of stuck in my head. Like Jordan went back to back on the 7th and the 8th. He went back to back, but then he hasn't had a home run in 3 games. I said we're going Diaz. We go Diaz. Obviously, like he's seeing the ball. He just hit a home run yesterday, so why not run him again? He got a good matchup too. Because I think Dane throws a lot of like sinkers or sliders or something like that. I had seen, and like he hits well off of those. Like he hits right-handed pitchers well. Yeah, he hits righties well, and then he hits a lot of like Dane Dunning's top pitches well. Like really, it's just the way he matches up against Dunning is what looks good. That's what I'm doing. That's what's going on Twitter. Henderson, Will Benson, I guess. part of me is, I saw Benson liked him. Part of me said Steer. I keep betting on Steer and he doesn't do anything. So like Steer hasn't faced, flexing either. Get that lefty right up. Guys, I'm lost. Little lost. Let me look at something real fast. Baseball Savant. This is about to tell me right now. Will Benson. Oh, shit. Splits. Damn it. I was trying to see who he's hit more. He's hit a home run versus a lefty and a righty. What about Steer? Steer's hit 3 home runs. Steer's batting .444 against righties, and he's hit 2 home runs against them. We're going with Steer. That was my gut. And then I looked at Benson, and then I added Benson instead of Steer. So you all want to go with what I... Sometimes there's that first play. Sometimes there's the gut play. I think I was afraid of Steer because he had higher odds. I don't care. We're running... Now it's a plus 20,000. That's what it is. I don't like Ellie. Like Ellie is good, and then he's not. Like literally, like that's the thing. It's like what about any of the 9 people that are batting? I don't like betting Ellie props because he bats too low in the lineup, in my opinion. Payday, that's a good look. A way to. Oh, and yeah, we're on Diaz. Okay, so yeah. Anyway, most people have left, and anyway, we're about to close it out here. I'll post it on Twitter at LiveJoeBets. If you're not following me, I'm sure most of you are. Gunnar Henderson plus 500. Yainer, right? Diaz plus 500. Spencer Steer plus 470. Add it together, plus 20, 420, plus 20,000. Like, I'm okay about a round robin, but like, it's just expensive. Like, if you put $10 on it, you're like, it's a $30, like, by twos, and you need 2 of those guys to hit a home run. I'll just play. Nah, I'm not doing it. I'm doing it as a lotto. Selling people dreams half the time anyway. All right. Anyhow, I'm going to get out of here. We've been on long enough, almost 40 minutes. My wife's probably ready to yell at me or something. So I'm going to get out of here. See you guys back at 11:30 as usual. Should be back to, I think we're back to some normal stuff. This is the last weekend before my wife goes back to work on Monday. She starts a new job on Monday. She goes in at like 9 now, 9 to 6 or something like that. So I don't know if we may do something. I doubt it's in the morning. So like the weekend should be like, it should be good, but there's going to be a lot going on, I'm sure. But I appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys back at 11:30, more than likely tomorrow, and going forward probably for a while. So peace. Good luck. Let's hit a plus 20,000 home run lotto. That'd be crazy. I'm waiting for it.